Welcome back. It's the last leg of our discussions here, and Mr. Laolu Akande is right here in our studios. He's the host of Channel Television's Inside Sources and also a former presidential aide. Well, I might think that you'll be a bit biased on this one since you used to be on the side of the executive. But the National Assembly is back, and it would seem that they're taking no prisoners. Twice yesterday on the floor of the House of Reps, they wanted the president to be summoned to come and explain what is happening with constituency projects, with PFIPC, and also the budget in general. They want a conversation around that. That's members of the House of Reps. The senators, on the other hand, they're like, the president has already asked the ICPC to investigate, so we'll wait until the president is done. Then we can now take a second look at what exactly is happening. What do you make of the stance of these two arms of the National Assembly, even though I already said you might have a bias?
Yeah, well, no, I try not to be biased, and when I'm biased, I give I give a disclaimer right at the beginning of it. But in this matter, my view is that the National Assembly, certainly for this particular time, they have not come across as an institution that inspires the Nigerian people at all. And so there's a very substantial level of disconnect between the National Assembly, which is meant to be the people's parliament, from the people. The people don't find any kind of, inspiration. Even when you saw that guy, I think from Abia yesterday, try to speak to the fact that the president has to be more accountable. You saw how it was, first of all, he himself was not very transparent about it. He snuck it in. And you saw how Tajudeen Abbas, tried to throw that off the wheel. I don't think Nigerians have a lot of regard for the National Assembly, especially now. And it's nothing personal about it. There are good people there, no doubt. But as an institution, the National Assembly, both the Senate and the House of Reps, have failed Nigeria, especially this time. They failed tremendously. Look, the people who work in the National Assembly tell us this. And this is the worst National Assembly that we've had since 1999. And it's very clear. So I'm not impressed about some of their shenanigans. They have to redeem the fact that is this how the National Assembly is supposed to be, a rubber stamp? They do all kinds of stuff. Look at how they did the issue of River State. We don't know how many people voted for or against. We don't have the numbers. There's no transparency. And this is meant to be the people's parliament. So I'm not really inspired by whatever they do there. I think it's just drama.
Okay, well, I'm sure that they will fall back to what I said earlier about your bias when they eventually come to counter it, if they do come to counter it, if they think it's worth countering. But I don't know whether you want to take a separate stance on their different stances on this PFIPC issue, this phantom presidential council, which the president has now asked the ICPC to investigate. We heard the president say, is it on Monday, that he's now given the ICPC 30 days to come up with a report on this particular matter. And also, we also heard the chief of staff say that he's suing Mr. Adeyemi if he doesn't retract or, redact all the things that he said about him. He's going to sue him for about 10 billion naira. How do you think that this changes the trajectory of this matter in the eye of the public?
Well, talking about the perception of the Nigerian public about this, a lot of people just think that the thing is going to go away. I've been involved in quite a few WhatsApp group conversations where I hear people say, oh, no, look, this thing, they're going to sweep it under the carpet. It's not going to end anywhere and all of that. And I think, people are beginning to point to indications that is where all of this is going to be. It's going to be wrapped under the carpet somewhere. But what I want to say is that I want to make 3 points, if I do get a point, the time very quickly. First of all, to say to the president that, while it is always a very difficult thing for presidents to, publicly discipline or even ask their trusted allies to step aside, it's a very difficult thing. I remember how tough it was for President Buhari to let Babacha Lawal go or to even be suspended. he didn't want to do it, you know. He was basically persuaded eventually to have to do it, you know, and I'm sure you recall, you know, Babachir Lawal coming out
who
of
is
the
the president?
Exactly, you know, so I understand how our presidents, you know, are very reluctant to let their trusted ally go. Look, I mean, Mr. Gbajabiamila is a trusted ally of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, you know, and while I'm sure that they must have had conversations, you know, about this matter, I think there's a clear reluctance on the part of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to ask Mr. Gbaja to go and sit down for a while. And I understand that based on what I have said. But what I want to say to the president is that it's important for the president to understand that while he's a rugged politician, and we all know that, you know, he's a politician who can fight. I mean, if you didn't have Bola Ahmed Tinubu in the APC primaries in 2022, you know, somebody who could fight and fight even if it had to be rough, you know, the APC would have presented a northern candidate. Because all those funny characters around President Buhari, that was their plan. They were going to push Lawal. So you needed somebody who could fight like Bola Ahmed Tinubu to be able to resist that. So there is a use for his ruggedness. But I'm saying that, look, to him, he needs to understand that this ruggedness over and over and over again is going to have consequences. You know, so if he says to Bajada, look, don't worry, we can weather this out, it's another, you know, battle that he has added to all the other battles that he has to go to fight going to 2027 elections. So you know, the Yoruba say, you know, that iku ogun onompa akinkanju, iku odo onompa omwe. And I'll explain that. It is death in war that kills the valiant. And it is death in water that kills the keen swimmer. So it's important for the president to understand that he can reduce the baggages that he's taking into 2027 elections. That's for the president. For Mr. Gbaja, it's important for Gbaja to also know that he can do the president a favor, even if he's not willing to resign, which is the right thing to do. Okay, because there are two sides to this contest. So the guy, the Adeni guy, is being pursued. They have gone to arrest his father. You know, he's been arrested for 21 days. The other side of that thing is Gbaja. Gbaja is the other side, and people don't see any kind of restraint. It's important for Gbaja to understand that he needs to go and sit down quietly somewhere, even if he doesn't want to resign. Which is the ideal thing. You should step aside. You should step aside so that there's going to be an appearance of moral probity, you know, for both sides. That hasn't happened. And the point that Gbaja should know is that he's adding to the baggage of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu as we head to 2027. That's what he's doing. He's adding to the baggage. He's giving the opposition a strong narrative to go after the president, to weaken his position. That is what Mr. Gbaja should know. And the third point is to the ICPC, who the president has now correctly said, look, I give you guys 30 days, get this thing done.
I was doing a countdown.
Yeah, you know, and so the problem with the ICPC is that we don't get a lot of transparency from the operation. For instance, we have a good guy there, you know, as the chairman. But what happened to the case of the oil regulators, you know, that they did, you know?
Farouk?
What happened? Yeah, what happened? What is the outcome?
NMPPRA, right?
Yeah. What is the outcome? Nigerians don't know the outcome. You know, so it is important to now tell the chairman, Dr. Aliyu, to say that, look, this is another opportunity for ICPC to redeem its image and do a proper, diligent, transparent, fair investigation, because Nigerians deserve that this matter is properly investigated and transparently so. Those are my comments.
Well, just so that people are reminded that the ICPC must not be a burial ground for issues like this.
I like that.
Oh, well. We're almost out of time now. I'm wondering, can we still take any more issue? Let's quickly broach this shoot-at-sight thing, which we saw. The Chief of Defense staff, the Chief of Defense, Minister of Defense. Yeah, Minister of Defense tell members, the troops, you know, that they shouldn't wait for orders. They see any terrorists, they should shoot at sight. some people are wondering, isn't that what they do already?
Well, so I think that is a breath of fresh air coming from our military authorities, because remember that we've had from, I think it's General Oduyede, who said that, oh, well, these people, they are prodigal sons, come back home. And I think we've also had some military authorities say that, well, they are our brothers. All of that is very, very, it's a poor reflection of the mood of the nation at a time when these people are cutting off people's heads and they are putting it out in video. So thank God that General Musa has come up to say that, look, this is not the right, deal with these people, these are evildoers, cut them off at the earliest opportunity. That is how I interpret what has happened. And I hope that the military hierarchy, all the way down, can get the memo that these are not guys, these are not prodigal sons, at least they have not gotten to that point. What we see is them doing damage and causing havoc, persisting in their despicable evil across the country. And so we don't want to hear, any kind of rehabilitation. Well, which is something good that the senator said yesterday that, okay, look, no more rehabilitation and all kinds of stuff with these guys. We need to crush them first. So this is a good thing from General Musa.
We'll see how that eventually pans out and what results it eventually yields, but we're totally out of time. It's 9:56 a.m. and we do know that on top of the hour, there will be a media chat being hosted by the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, and yes, we'll be taking on quite a number of things, something to look forward to at 10 a.m. But on our other platforms, that will be happening on a DSTV platform. On our other platforms, Business Morning will be happening. We have to thank you very much for speaking with us this morning, Mr. Laolu Akande, the host of Channels Television's Inside Sources, and also a former presidential aide. Thank you,
Malcolm. Always good to see you.
Ayo, well, we made it, didn't we?
Oh, yes, we did. Enjoy the rest of your day, everyone. I'm Ayo Makinde.